Hello guys, so welcome back. Today we are going to start with a very new topic, yet you must be knowing because it's to starting level of class 11, and we're going to do with this topic called linear inequalities. So what do you understand by linear inequalities? Basically we will be dealing about inequalities. Linear, you all know, any variable that is having power 1, so we say that is linear. But what do we mean by inequalities? Basically we will be dealing with greater than and less than signs here, along with equal to sign, and how to solve them up. So that will be our linear inequalities all over in this chapter. Okay, so now we are going to understand with what actually is said to be as linear inequality. Whenever I say that 5x is less than greater than 5, okay, so I can say that any value of 5x will be greater than 5. That is, if I say that my x cannot be equal to 1, because if I am saying that my x is equal to 1, then I will have value of 5 that will be equal to 5. So I will not use that value. So that means my x will be greater than 1 in all the cases. So that is how we say that our linear inequality will be solved in order to find the value of x and y respectively. So you must have got a hint about that, okay, what we are going to do in this whole chapter, that we are going to solve with the inequalities, find the values of x and y and plot it on graph. Plotting on graph is secondary thing, because that will make you move to next level of linear inequalities. First of all, we are going to do with solving of the equations. Okay. So I'll rub this example first and then I'll continue with this. If I say that, for example, my equation is like 4x plus 3 less than 6x plus 7. So now how will I solve this? I need to basically solve with the value of x. So how will I deal? 3 minus 7 less than 6x minus 4x. That is the basis. How do we solve it? That's now minus 4 will be less than 2x, and x will be greater than minus 4 by 2, that is minus 2. Now we can say that all the values of x will be greater than minus 2. So that is my answer of this equation, that what will be my value of x. So in order to find the value of x, we'll solve this inequality. So, and so on and so forth. Now how will I plot this inequality on number line? 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, 1, 2 and 3 and so on. Now what I'll do is, see, this is less than that is, if I talk in terms of x is greater than minus 2. So now you see here we don't have equal to sign, that is our value is not including minus 2. So I will make an open circle over here. Whenever you include a particular value, you will close down with the circle, that is you will color the circle, and if you are not including that value, you will make an open circle and then you will mark with rest of the number line, and like this. So your answer will be this part, that is from minus 2 to minus infinity, or I have made it the other way. Your answer will be from minus infinity to minus 2 with an open interval. Whenever you are talking in terms of infinity, you will take open interval, but whenever you are talking in terms of any particular digit, you can have open interval also and closed interval also here. Why closed interval? If you are including with the minus 2 value, so you will have closed interval, and if you are not including minus 2 value, so you will have open interval over here. Okay, so that is how we mark with the values. So now look at this question. We solve this. Ravi obtained 70 and 75 respectively in first two tests. Find minimum marks that he should get in third test to have an average score of 60 marks. So how do we solve this? We need to make such an equation that is our minimum marks should be greater than 60. At least we are given that at least. So where we will be using greater than and equal to 60. First we know that our marks should be greater than 60 and we know that it should be an average. So we'll use divide by 3 and we know that our first marks are 70 and then other one is 75 and then we need to find out the third mark, that is x, and we'll solve this up now. 70 plus 75 is 145 plus x, which is greater than 60 into 3. So now I'll do it here so that it's visible properly. It will be x will be greater than equal to 180 minus 145, which will be x value will be greater than 34 and 35. So my x value should be greater than 35 or it should be equal to 35 because it is told that we need at least 60 marks in average. So to make up with average 60 marks, we need to have either 35 marks or greater than that. So that's how we solve with our linear inequalities. So coming up with next, now we'll understand how to plot a linear inequality on piece of paper, that is on graph. How do we plot it on graph? Now whenever we need to solve with the equation, you just need to keep in mind that what can be your maximum minimum values of x and y respectively that touches with your axis. Okay, so that is a point should be here, a point should be here on either of the axis, so that you have one starting and one ending point of your equation. So how do we find with that? As we know that here we have y equal to 0 and here we have x equal to 0. So taking up with that in mind, first we'll keep x as 0 and then we'll keep y as 0 in order to solve with the equation. So when your x is 0, your y is greater than 3. So your value will be 3 here. Now when your y is 0, your value will be 2. So now you will plot up with the value. So like 1 and then 2 and 1, 2 and 3 here. So now I have marked with rough values. So x is 0, 2, 2 and 0. That is 2, 0 will be my point for x, and for y I have this is my first and this is my second coordinate. For y I have 3, 0, 3, where I have 0 as my x point. So what I'll do is I have to do nothing now. I have to just join with these 2 points and this will be my equation, that is 3x plus 2y equal to 6. But see here, you have value greater than 6. So what we have to do, just be careful here. We need to shade out with the region. Your line will not be included. So just remember that you will make a dotted line that will be here, because whenever you will not include any line, you will make a dotted line on the axis that creates the equation. Okay, because here you are not given equal to. If you are given equal to, then you will make solid line. If you are given less than or equal to any of the signs, less than or greater than without equal to sign, so you will make a dotted line. Okay, so just be careful when to use with dotted lines or when to use with solid lines. Okay, now how to mark, like you must have got that, okay, we are plotting line. Now how do we plot with greater than equal to value? So for that, what we will do is we will shade up with the region. And how to shade up with the region? By just taking up with one value, that is 0, 0. Now why we are taking up with 0, 0? This is because, see, your line is having one side on 0, 0, right? Either like your one side is on 0, 0 and your other side will be this, one side will be this, and one side will be this. Now whenever I'm saying of a particular point 0 comma 0, if your 0 comma 0 satisfies my this equation, okay, that means your this region, all the points will satisfy this region, this equation. So that means my shaded area will be this line. But if my value comes out to be false, that is 0 comma 0 does not satisfy my equation, then I will shade this region. Why? Because if this value is false, that means all the values lying at this side will be false. So we'll shade with this region. That's why we take up with 0 comma 0. Now we have one more type of equation where your line goes through 0 comma 0, that is like this. So I'll take a next example where we have line passing through 0 comma 0, and I'll tell you how to work with that type of equation also. First we're going to do with this equation how to solve it. Now just look here, we'll put x 0, then we'll put y also 0, and then we'll check 0 is greater than 6. Now we have just put 0 0 here, and greater than 6 is our equation. So is it true or false? It is false. So this means that my shaded area will be this part instead of this, because my value has turned false. Okay, so now I'll go with another example where we have line passing through 0 0. So now for example, I have an equation like this where 2x minus y is less than equal to 0. Okay, I am taking equal to 0 also. Why? Because I'll tell you how do we draw with this when we have equal to sign. Like in before the example which I showed to you just now, I had less than sign over there, but now I will have equal to also in the equation. So I'll just make you know that how to we make with the equation. So now I'll solve it again. Now if you take up with x as 0, see you will get y also 0 because you are having here 0, and if you are taking y as 0, you will again get 0. So this means that I cannot plot, or if one of my points will be 0 comma 0 obviously. So x and y, if I take, I will have to work with x taking up with y to the other side so that I have my equation properly solved. So you can see here, if I take my y on the other side, I'll have equation like this. So now if I take up with my y value as 1, okay, or if I take up as x value as 1, then my y value will be 2, and 2, then I'll get 4. If I have 3, then I'll get the third value as 6, that will be multiplied by 2. So what will I have? I'll just make a rough diagram wherein I'm having 1 comma 2 first point, then at 2 3 4 another point, then at 3 5 6 another point. So my equation will be like this. Okay, it will be a straight line. So this will be my equation, and I'll write my equation as 2x minus y equal to 0. Now here I am having equal to also, so that's why I made it as a solid line. If I would have only less than sign, then I would have made a dotted line. Okay, now you can see that my equation is passing through 0 comma 0. So what I'll do is, first it's very much important to mark with x and y axis. Okay, never miss out with this part. Now how do we do this? How do we solve this? Now see here, you will have to take such a point that lies either on one side, and it's better that you take points on the axis because it will be easier for you to solve, because one point will automatically become 0. Okay, so I'm taking here 2 comma 0 for the equation, and I'll check whether my equation is true or false. Okay, so what I'll do is in this 2 into 2 minus 0, as I put my value of y is 0, which will be either is it less than 0 or not. I'll check. 4 is less than 0, false. So my value has turned false. So my shaded region will be this side. Okay, so that's all with this. So now we're going to do with one question where we have to make up with the equation also, and we'll be solving that equation also in order to understand this much better. Now see here, I have taken a question where a manufacturer has 600 liters of 12% solution of the acid. That is, in all he is having 12% solution of acid as 600 liters, and another he is having 30% solution of acid and it's asked in the question that what should be the value of 30% acid solution that should be added in this solution so that we create a mixture which is having acid percentage in between 15% to 18%. So by this we can clearly see that we'll have an inequality based question that we have to solve it up so that we have a basic value of x. X is the value of acid basically of 30%. Okay, so how will we solve it? We'll first say let x be liters of 30% solution of acid. Okay, as we don't know its value, we know that 12% solution is having 600 liters in all, but we don't know that what is the value of 30% solution. So we'll find that out. Now total mixture will be equal to x plus 600, as 600 is also already given to us, and x will be the number which we'll be adding for mixture. We also know that the value which we'll receive will be in between 15 to 18% of the total mixture. So what we will do is we will have two equations basically. The first one will be 30% of x plus 12% of 600 liters should be greater than 15% of total. So we will have 15 upon 100. I'll use 15 upon 100 here also. X plus 600. So my first equation becomes this. Another one will be 30 upon x, 30 upon 100 into x plus 12 upon 100 into 600 will be less than 18 upon 100 of x plus 600. So I'll solve with these two equations. I'll receive with values of x that should be here. So what I'll do is I'll receive one value from here, one value from here. That is the minimum value and the maximum value I'll receive from here, both of equations. So I'll first solve with the first equation of 15%. So what will be the values? You can just see here, we can cancel out or with hundreds. 30 of x plus 12 into 600 will be 7200, which will be less greater than 15x plus 15 into 600 will be 9000, which will be like I'll subtract it. It will be 15x will be greater than this will be minus sign here, so 1800, I guess 1800, yes, it will be 1800. So x will be greater than, I'll receive 120 here for the first value, and similarly I'll solve with the other equation also, and I'll receive x will be less than 300. So my final answer becomes my x will be in between 300 to 120. That will be my answer. So these equations will be solved in such a pattern, that is how to solve with the equations also. And there will be one more type of question that you will have to solve with the help of graph. So that will be in your higher level. It's not at current point of time. That will be at current point of time. Basically for graphs you will be given equations straight away, and you will be asked that okay, what is the shaded region for that. But in form of word problems you will have in your next session, that is at your senior level. Okay, thank you very much for patient listeners. and meet you in next class.